Welcome to the Archotechs, a RimWorld fluid ideology series about pursuing the Archonexus. Episode 15, Max Memes. To briefly recap last episode, we fought against two different mech clusters. The first mech cluster's remnants are here, and we used smoke to destroy the cluster and 3 unwilling megasloths to kill the centipede. The second cluster died very, very easily. We had a very strangely shaped cluster where all of the turrets were on the outside and all the mechs were on the inside, so we sort of picked them apart one by one. Ola noticed that Sakura here has venom fangs, and I'm definitely going to have to remove her venom fangs. If you're wondering how these work, when you get into a fight, venom fangs will allow you to bite your enemy, doing damage, and then it also will build up toxic buildup, which, if it gets high enough, can cause unconsciousness, cancers, etc. So before I start, the goals for this episode are to develop the ideology, because we're very, very close to the required points needed to reform. And this will be the absolute last meme that we add. So that's very exciting. Now, we can still develop the ideology further after we add our last meme, because further development will allow us to change styles or perhaps change up some of the rituals, buildings, etc., relics. But that is a bit of a milestone, and I'm excited for that. Let's go ahead and fix the scheduling. So these slaves here are going to be set to slaves, and then everyone else set to unrestricted. And then I'm going to delete this mech cluster, but keep the 5 unstable power cells. So, done. I have moved the pen marker to here to keep the donkeys sort of inside. I don't really have a better spot for them, so donkey food, I'll call this, and we're just gonna put potatoes here. Sven, I would like you to haul one of these unstable power cells down and someone else haul the other one. So Sven, you get the southern one, and Bunny, you stop what you're doing, get the other one. And then let's have Zleb get a third, even though I don't really have anywhere to put it just yet. Cool. Seeing that we're about to add 3 new slaves to our colony, I should also get some body straps, collars, and travel wear. So for body straps, this is 70 ingredients each, and I am not likely to have enough plain leather, but it does look like I have some boomalopes to butcher. Then for the slave collars, it is 25 ingredients each. So for 25 ingredients, we'll do bird skin for 2 of them, and then maybe hunt another emu for a third. And then tribal wear is 60 each for heavy fur, and we can do 2 heavy fur, and then maybe we'll transition over to cloth. Also looks like I'm starting to get my hops and soon to be wort, so we'll start brewing, which is exciting. And my 5 guests here, left over from this fight, will be leaving soon. They sometimes take a minute. And a Imperial trader. Brother of Town Guard Sakura's coming in. Uh-oh. And son of colonist Slave 3. A son of a 25-year-old. Interesting. Alright, so Sven now has the orbital beam targeter. That way it is not a weapon that these slaves can use against me, which is important. And I'm going to have Sven move the pen marker so that these donkeys stop sort of making a mess. Now I will be sacrificing these donkeys, but if you take a look at my ritual timer for that, 4 days is the cooldown. So I'm going to wait the cooldown. So now that I have a pen marker moved, the slaves here can't access this area. So instead, the slaves tethered it to a caravan hitching spot, and now Zleb, who's allowed to go in there, will haul them in there. And then I have this donkey food for potatoes so that we can feed the donkeys some potatoes until it's time to sacrifice them. Hey, Sven, where are you? Oh, you're on your throne. Let's go for trades. I doubt there's much to trade with them. Yeah, there really isn't much. I could buy another dromedary, but I already have 2 things to sacrifice, so I think we're good on that front. Compact weaponry is not something I'm particularly interested in. So, I sold some packaged survival meals. That is it. I'm going to, once I finish the precision rifling, start to pivot my research again. One of the reasons to pivot is when you ascend the Archonexus, the only things that you bring are just a few items and the people that ascend with you. So making investments into the people is a very powerful tool to be able to bring a lot of wealth with you. Now there's some setbacks, of course, as well, which is that if you, let's say, get a whole lot of bionics, you can end up in a scenario where you bring a lot of wealth with you through the Archonexus, and that could be problematic as well. But I sort of want to be wealthy, so that's the route we'll take. I'm also going to expand some of the beds in the slave room, so we'll have Trustin start building those up, because we're about to have a few more slaves. And we're getting some masterworks. Well, 1 masterwork. Slave 1 is my most productive slave, so he's going to take the masterwork bed so that he spends the least amount of time sleeping possible. That way it frees him up to farm, because he's our really capable farmer. He's the one doing the double strand and the like. We also, as I established, need to remove the venom fangs from Sakura. And I'm going to have Sven do that. Just to make sure that we don't kill this slave, I'm just going to clean up the operating room a little bit. And then use herbal meds. And hopefully it won't fail. Cobra has converted, so Cobra is going to be enslaved. Beats is already on the path to being enslaved, and Sakura now has had the venom fangs out, so as soon as she converts, she'll be enslaved as well. 3 enslaved and 1 converted is 14. So once I'm done converting and enslaving all of these guys, we will be able to develop our ideology, which is pretty cool. Definitely something I'm excited about. So the memes for this series were predetermined in a poll before the series ever started. And the 4 memes, you know, are sort of the max. So we are about to get the last meme. It doesn't necessarily mean that we need to stop developing our ideology. It means that developing our ideology is a little less important, but it does allow us to introduce things like styles, or changing of the rituals, or changing of the relics, which is something that we might end up doing. Let's start to get prosthetics. I would very much like bionics, because bionic parts is something that you bring with you when you ascend the Archonexus. And it looks to me like my guests here that were helping out to fight the mech cluster may be on their way out. Maybe. Maybe not yet. And there's the last conversion. So, enslave. We have a lot of slag around the map to haul in. I'm just going to do a quick perimeter check for slag. It also would be a good idea to trigger any of the fully grown cacti to be cut down. I have a lot of wood because I bought a lot of wood, but just because I have a lot of it doesn't necessarily mean I should be happy with the amount that I have. The reason being, making instruments and the like is very expensive, and we could also do that for profit because Trustin's very capable at it. It doesn't look like Trustin, he's been constructing this whole time, so it doesn't look like he's done much in the way of make the slave clothing. So we're about to get a whole lot of people enslaved, but I don't really have anything for them to wear. Not yet. And I'm still working on the cubbies for the unstable power cells. We haven't gotten them yet either. So that is a task for Bunny, as she is our miner. It looks like she's currently busy brewing up some wort for beer, which is great. That's going to allow us to sort of manage our slaves a little bit better. I have to be careful about Slave 2 not drinking any, because she's almost over her alcohol addiction. And I don't want her to go back into her addiction, because that's costly. All right, instead of waiting for Trustin to heal up, let's go ahead and use Preach Health, speeding up the process, and I'm going to reduce his bed rest a little bit. But it looks like he's sleeping anyway. Yeah. Alright, at this point, any stone block will do. And it looks like the closest stuff is slate and sandstone. But we have removed a sizable amount of the cover around the edge of our base, which is very, very handy. So if anyone's running in from the south or west, there's not a lot of cover to be had, which makes it a lot easier to sort of control and hit them more accurately. Another thing I'd like to do is to have Sven use at least a Masterwork Heavy SMG, so that's another task for Trustin. But I'm going to wait until the clothing is done, because these guys are about to get enslaved. It's going to happen any minute now. Okay, so most of their will has been broken. 0, 3.5, and 0. So 2 of them on next conversation should join, and then 1 of them is holding out a little bit, but not for long. So there's the 3 body straps. Collar 1. Collar 2. Sakura just got enslaved. So, Sakura, let's go through. Looks like you're going to be replacing Bunny as a cook. Don't poison us, please. And you are going to be named Slave 4. And then Slave 5 and 6 coming soon, I suspect. Another thing I could do is to have my slaves change their clothing to the ideological styles that we prefer. So I'll be working on that. So hair, let's give you proper hair, shave it off. In terms of face tattoos, none. Body tattoos, none. And then apparel colors, set ideology colors. We probably need more Tinctoria, but this is a good start. Beats just joined us as well. Alright, Beats is a little bit more annoying because they're chemical interest and very neurotic, so yeah, not a slave that I'm excited about having, but they also don't do any work. So just another hauler crafter. And now, 1 more, and we have the development point required. Very, very close. Alright, Bunny, keep mining out the cubby holes. And there it is. Oh, Slave 1 heart attack. Uh-oh. That's not good. So Slave 1 is our really capable farmer. So I don't want Slave 1 to have a heart attack. I might need to actually treat with at least herbal meds, because the chance of a successful treatment is pretty low, and this is becoming a debilitating heart attack. There we go. And we treated it properly. Sven, let's have you go ahead and carry herbal meds on you so that you don't have to go back and forth. So the way to do this is to set to carry. And now we don't have to pace so much. Okay, no longer having a heart attack, but he is a 78-year-old man. It's actually one of the primary reasons why I hadn't really planned on keeping him permanently, because he's sort of a physical liability because of his age, his advanced age, making him not like a permanent asset to the team. All right, and we're continuing to work on the security cubbyholes so that these explosives can't chain together and turn to some sort of massive explosion. Keep them separated like this is the way to prevent that. A female psychic soothe, which should help some of the female slaves stay sane. And we're almost done with all the cubbyholes. This will be the last one for now. But all this added power is terrific. Absolutely terrific. It'll help keep the power, the lights on. It's almost the equivalent of a geothermal geyser. And I got it just from blowing up a mech cluster, so fantastic. So I did mention that I wanted the heavy SMG for Sven, so let's get one of those. And then I also might want shield belts for the rest of them, but I'm really going to have to remember to strip the slaves when it's time to donate or sell them, because shield belts are very expensive to just sort of fork over. The rest of the slave clothing, not that big of a deal, but shield belts, yeah, that's a different matter. And taking a look, it looks like all of them have proper clothing, so I think I need one more tribal wear. That is it. Yeah, one more tribal wear. So we'll make it the last one out of cloth. And there's the cubby holes. And I'm also going to be removing as much of this mountain as I can that is not overhead mountain to sort of increase the area that I can build into. But looking good. And our trio plus Zleb, very, very happy too, might I add. Okay, so these are all nice and secured. I guess there's a corner missing. And then another thing is, and I mentioned this last stream, but all of these power cells are in this sort of core of the base, so they're less likely to hit by breachers. Breachers are not likely to attack here because this is sort of the center. So 0.6 will means that he'll be converting very, very soon. These moisture pumps doing their job. This wooden wall can now be replaced with a limestone one. Unfortunately, that heavy SMG is not masterwork or legendary, as I would have been informed if it was. All right. That is all looking good. Cobra is now will 0. And taking a look at the timer for the sacrifice. Very, very soon. Another thing that I could do is scarify the slaves that I do have. So I'm going to spend a second to do that because we might as well have them a little bit happier. She has a 8 nutrient paste meal penalty from long ago when she was not of our ideology, which is kind of funny. Okay, that was satisfying. And we'll kick off one more just immediately because Slave 5 needs one as well. And then Cobra will be Slave 6. Oh, we have a... Let's cancel this Scarify. Because we have a Mechanoid raid. So these are Breachers, 1 Pike, 3 Lance, 2 Scyther, and a Termite. So Slave 1 and 2, Slave 1, drop your shield belt and give that to Slave... Who's the really nasty one? Give that to Slave 5. So Slave 2 is Tough, which is a good person to have a shield belt. And then Slave 5 is the one that, if she dies, you know, okay, she had no redeeming qualities at all. And we'll have them come out here. I do have an Insanity Lance, I have Shock Lances, I have Marksman Command, which I can hit. So I have a lot of sort of tricks up my sleeve, and we are going to try to have Slave 2 and 5 tank for us while we take apart their group. Another thing that I might want to add in the near future is an EMP launcher, because EMP launchers equipped on slaves would be a very effective way to shut down Mechanoids, to protect us from Mechanoid raids. I don't have any Psycasts that are particularly good against Mechanoids. Wow, you are really slow. Oh, yeah, you're the one with the, yeah, you're the one with the alcoholism. Okay, let's close the distance. Try to draw fire on the shield belters. I think they're gonna get close enough that I don't even have to really pursue. All right. We all got thumped. Scythers first, because they can do devastating damage. And our least favorite slave is getting dissected here. Alright, I don't like the fact that the pikeman's attacking me at all. Sven. There's not much I could do other than call aid. Vertical Pulse is not really an effective means of fighting mechs, as they don't vomit. Slave 5 is dead. Sort of by design. We were... Oh, yeah, the pulse started to work. Better her than us. It also means that her shield belt can go to someone else. Slave 2, let's have you close the distance and take apart the last mech, and all there's left is a Lancer who's firing at Slave 2, who's downed, but just without 1 lung. Not that big of a deal. Okay. Straightforward. Obviously, use of the use of some additional weapons like EMP launchers and the like would be very handy in this situation. And I'll be looking to invest that. But alright, Slave 5 is gone. And I'm bringing them all to the bed so I can tend to them in the bed. And then because we have herbal meds, I'm going to let everyone be tended with herbal meds. So we'll probably take her skull. All right, Sven, tend to Trustin, and then Trustin, you are the other doc, so I'm going to have Trustin carry herbal meds of 3 stack. Just trying to tend quickly so we recover quickly. Most of the injuries on the, let's call them what they are, important people, are just superficial. Just some thump cannoning type stuff. Nothing all that serious. And Cobra is enslaved. Okay. 14. We're at 14. So hey, guess what? You are now Slave 5. And this one is dead. We'll extract her skull and take that shield belt back, which is sitting out here, which is not good. Slave 5, what are you like? Let's give you the assignments here. You can mine. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. You also have a passion in grow and plant cut. Oh boy, you might be a permanent slave because you farm and mine and you're only 47, so you're not going to have any heart problems. You are missing a toe and a left leg, but you know, those things can be fixed potentially. Interesting. Yeah, I'm very seriously considering sort of giving him an assigned patron name, because he's a lot more interesting and useful than the other slaves that we have received so far. Okay, Slave 5 also needs to be scarified. And selling to Lindsay City. So Lindsay City, let's see where this is up in the hills a little bit, West Hinia. And the rewards here is Prestige Cataphract Armor, Heal Mech Serum, oh boy. Yeah, for 15 slave body straps, I think I will. I'm about to get a windfall of cotton too, so that is a very attractive quest for us to do. And I'll probably do for the Heal Mech Serum. Although I don't have any wounds right now that really require Heal Mech Serum. Nothing permanent, like brain damage or anything like that. But even then, you know, there are ways to bioregenerate with the Sculptor now. So Heal Mech Serum has lost some of its power, but that's probably the most attractive to me anyway. And I have 6.5 days to accept that quest, and I'm probably going to wait the sort of maximum time so that I can get as many of the slave body straps crafted ahead of time. Slave 2 can walk again. She needs a lung, but I don't really have a lung for her. She's still worth the same amount of honor, regardless of her health condition. And she is infected, and she collapsed as a result. So with an infection, I'm probably not going to give her meds unless she absolutely needs them, but we'll tend to her and have her bed rest. So if I want her to bed rest, I'll increase her bed rest to 1, so she doesn't get out of bed. Now, Slave 5 is also a miner, so he is going to help me add some lovely steel to my stockpile. But we also had a development point, so let's go develop our ideology. We're going to reform. We're going to add a meme of collectivist. That was the last one predetermined. And then it's going to mess with some of my already chosen ideology choices there. So let's make sure to fix all the things that it says it's going to impact. So add precept of pain. All right, that came back. Add precept of rough living. And temperature tough. The corpses will have to be fixed as well. So skull spike desired, corpses don't care. And then what else? The marriage name changed as well. The marriage name has to be chosen now because we're collectivists, and collectivism has marriage name requirements. So right now it is what? Usually man's. I'm going to set to random. And then we also lost the Prime Guardian role. And here is an example of the fact that I said before you can only have up to 4 roles. So here's proof of the pudding. I can't add a melee specialist because you can't have more than 2 specialists. So I have production and shooting. And this will be a Prime Guardian again. No clothing required. And that might screw up Zaleb, losing the Prime Guardian role already. And then I'm not going to touch the rituals this time. And that is it. Done. So all that collectivism really does for us is it disables the keep your last name marriage names. And then it makes work drive more powerful. So work drive now has a cooldown of 10 days and lasts for 9 days, which is a very useful tool when trying to produce a lot of stuff. Oh, another thing that I did here, as I'm sure you're able to see, I cut a hole in my border wall. So now animals can breach, and I'm going to obviously need to fix that. So let me engineer a bit of solution, because I don't want animals coming in and eating my stuff. Okay, so Slave 5, you are going to need to be maybe gibbet caged, because you joined us briefly, so I'll do that for you. All right, Sven, I don't really need you to bed rest. Why are you even resting? You should be researching. All right, so the gibbet cage is now done. And what I could do is to have, I don't know, let's say Bunny. You stick that into the cage. Okay, there we go. So now we actually have a border wall again. And the inside zone can be updated to reflect the fact that this area is fine to traverse to. So that's updated as well. Okay, so slave body straps. I'm going to want 15 of them. We are going to drop them on the floor. I'm going to be making them largely of cloth. And we'll have Trustin start that in a moment. I should also probably hunt all the things that can be hunted, because textiles is not something that I have in abundance. Speaking of textiles, let's go ahead and sacrifice a donkey. I'm going to have Slave 2 not participate, though. Even if... oh, it also looks like I am being penalized for not having enough pews. So, before I sacrifice said donkey, let me get 2 more pews. It only requires 1, but for symmetry's sake, I'm going to do 2. And the reason I saw that is it says pew 2 out of 3. So, we'll fix that. My moisture pumps are... this one has removed all the wooden walls, but I'm still going to get rid of the last 2 remaining sections of soft sand. And then this one only has to spread here to finish. Oh, and the door as well. And this one has a ways to go, because it was built far later. Alright, so the pews are now done. Let's take a look at the sacrifice. As you can see, I get an extra 15% off of that. And having Slave 2, who is infected, sit out is only 1% change. So Donkey 1, your time has come. And this is for additional development points so that we can change our styles and relics and the like. Just because we don't have memes to add doesn't mean I don't want to develop the ideology further. That, and it's good for leather to make these slave body straps. Okay, it was satisfying. We gained 1 development point and puts everybody into a reasonably good mood. Her infection looks fine. She's also over her alcoholism, which is very handy. Now, I do have outstanding quests for the Hidden Installation Mission and the Worshipful Village, and these are things that I've left for multiple seasons because I've been attacked by Mechanoids and just busy with other things in general. They are probably going to be the focus of next episode, not this one. But I am hoping to be able to start to work on getting the relics that our trio demand as a point of honor. Okay, come on, Masterwork. Let's go. Nope, not Masterwork. Make another one. Yet another excellent. That is 1-armed donkey down there. Okay, before we do anything else, let's complete the wall to our stockpile, because otherwise animals get to come in and eat stuff that they shouldn't. And then it looks to me like most of this mountain out here is not overhead mountain. So I'll probably need to continue the border wall more fully, but I am going to mine this all out with Slave 5 and Bunny, if she's free. And Sven has a trade price improvement inspiration, which is awesome. Sitting on that throne. Now, I don't really have any good psycasts for him, which is why I haven't had him go all the way up to max psi focus, because there's diminishing returns the higher you go. I'd rather just have him researching. Okay, trust him. There we go, masterwork. And an emu has gone mad. Bunny. And so Sven, go get your masterwork. Trustin and Bunny, go kill the emu. Actually, Bonnie probably doesn't even need your help. This thing is pretty done for. Right, Slave 5 still expects scarification. So that's another ritual that we're going to kick off sooner or later. And then let's take a look at the other rituals. We have the Archic Invitation, which we could try. That would be good for development points and potentially recruits. So let's do the... What time is it? 11? Let's do the invitation as soon as Bunny has this thing butchered and frozen. Oh, she doesn't cook anymore. Yeah, it's Slave 4 that cooks. I forgot about that. All right, so let's do the let's do the invitation. Expected quality 96%, so there's an 80% chance that it is positive. This ritual room didn't have filth. It could be more impressive. I could try to increase the impressiveness by putting in better furniture, stuff like that. So that might be worth my time, but at the moment I don't. I want to focus on the slave body straps because the rewards for that are just too good. And this was fun, so our development points climbed by 1. And then let's immediately go into a scarification to satisfy Slave 5's scar requirements. And then Slave 5 also doesn't have tribal wear. So I'm going to queue tribal wear up with cloth as a high priority. And that is done. It's satisfying, and that's yet even more positive mood, which is simply a wonderful thing to have. Now, some of them aren't in the proper colors, so I'll have them come one at a time to fix that. We're looking good. With all of the corn harvest here, I'm going to pivot this over to cotton because we're about to have a truly tremendous and ridiculous amount of vegetables, more than I'll ever really be able to use. So we'll change it over to cotton for the slave body strap. But with that, my friends, I am out of time. Thank you for tuning in to episode 15 of the Archotechs Max Memes. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to chat with me in real time, Rhadamant.com or the description of this video have a link to Discord. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons and Twitch subscribers for supporting the channel. Farewell.